At this point in the engineering design process, we have finished clarifying the team assignment and are ready to embark on the step entitled Understand the Problem and its Context. This step involves a deep dive into the research related to your project topics. And the output of this step is a document called the Design Context Review.
The Design Context Review, or DCR, is a document that collects and organizes key information to help your team explain the problem, objectives, and solution space. The DCR situates your problem in the broader perspective and tells you what you need to know before embarking on your solution. Why is the DCR so important? The DCR explains the context of the problem to be solved. It allows the team to explore how others have addressed solutions, and it broadens the scope of possible solutions that you might consider.
The DCR looks like an extensive report that exhaustively explores the pertinent topics to your design project. If you're working in industry, this might involve hundreds of pages of information about your project. But in your engineering design class, this might only be 10 to 40 pages. When you're researching your DCR, make sure that you research everything and then decide what is included in the report, instead of only researching enough to fill the page limit.
The audience for the Design Context Review is the team themselves, although teams often think that the audience is the client or the professor. In fact, the DCR arms the team with all the information they need to move ahead in the design process.
How much information you include in your design context review is just as important as what information you include in your design context review.
Doing a shallow dive for your DCR is like swimming in a baby pool. You might type in a keyword into Google, collect information from the first link only, and then stop. You might not develop a need-to-know list that covers the breadth of the problem. And you might use Wikipedia as your major source. So if you think about a baby pool, you can see all sides from one perspective. You'd hit your head if you tried to dive because there's not a lot of water. And really only one adult can fit in there at any one time. And so teams who do a shallow dive might develop a poor solution because they do one of the following things. First, they don't fully understand the problem. Second, they might fail to find an existing solution. Third, they might be unable to develop worthwhile ideas. And finally, they might just try things that have already been proven to fail. Doing a deep dive for your DCR is like swimming in an Olympic-sized pool. You find existing solutions, you have a deep knowledge of the problem, you've completed an exhaustive search. Multiple people have used multiple methods to search, and you use peer-reviewed literature. So if you think about an Olympic-sized pool, it requires multiple perspectives to see the whole thing. It's deep enough to dive, and different people can all be in at once, swim around, and there's still more water. Therefore, teams who complete a deep dive are more likely to find successful solutions. They have a thorough analysis of existing solutions and related technologies. They have a deep knowledge of the problem. And finally, they avoid attempting a solution that has been tried or failed.
Let's return to our water bottle project. Let's make a list of some ideas that might be included inside of our DCR. Pause the video now for 2 minutes and make a list.
In the last exercise, you generated a list of ideas of what you might include in your water bottle project design context review. Perhaps you considered exploring existing solutions or talking to users about their needs. You might have thought of evaluating the appropriate regulations or exploring the physical features of water bottles. Perhaps you even considered doing research on the seals for containers or materials that are appropriate for water bottles.
It can be daunting to determine exactly what should be included in your design context review. To help with this, we offer you this map, which depicts some of the categories or questions that should be addressed in every design context review. These include existing solutions, some basic background about your project, business concerns, regulatory laws, answering the question, why isn't there a solution, and other research.
In summary, the DCR is an exhaustive document that clearly organizes information to explain your problem, objectives, and solution space.
In some of our future videos, we're going to explore the answer to 2 questions. First, what information is required for your DCR? And second, how do you gather this information?